If you
Mhm.
needed a sign to get a me day, to take a me day, right? To take care of yourself, get a massage, get your hair done, get your nails done, whatever makes you feel good. This is it. What's going on, guys? My name is Jake,
I'm Jesus.
and this is your Body Comp Prescription, where we help you navigate through all things health and fitness. Hope you're having a great day, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at bodycomprx. The other day, my mom sent me a video of Tim Grover. If you don't know who Tim Grover is, Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's trainer. And he was talking about his ability to handle pressure, Michael Jordan's ability to handle pressure. Okay. We all know Michael Jordan was, an unbelievable basketball player, performed under pressure. We're not going to talk about the GOAT, that we'll save that for a different video. Okay. But Tim Grover basically said, in order to win, you need to believe in yourself. Other people can believe in you, aka like a support system, but you cannot win unless you believe in yourself, right? And I think this is really true when it comes to your health, and whether it be building muscle, losing fat, building strength, whatever it is, right? If you don't believe that you can do it, it makes it really, really hard for that to happen, right? Obviously, you can go through the motions and kind of, cross your fingers and hope for the best or whatever, right? And even the best support system in the world, which we talk about here all the time, saying how important that is, right? If you don't believe that you can achieve those things, the challenge will seem a lot more impossible. Now, Jesus hasn't seen this, I don't think. So, Jesus, whenever you feel comfortable, just feel free to jump in as I go along. All right. The point that I want to get across here is that your friends can hype you up. Your support system can hype you up, especially when they notice your results. But then that really requires you to make measurable changes for them to acknowledge, right? Like, if you don't make any progress, they can't say that you've done anything, right? They can't, there's no achievement, there's no award that they can be like, oh, good job for doing this. Great job losing weight. Your face looks skinnier, your biceps look bigger, blah, 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 right? Your compliments, basically. And what Tim Grover says is that any person that has made any measurable results has an ego, right? And especially when you think about Michael Jordan, I think we all kind of acknowledge that that's true, right? Michael Jordan had an ego, right? But going back to us, an ego is not necessarily a bad thing, right? And all my psych people out there, you can drop down in the comments the difference between the id and the ego and all that kind of stuff from what I remember from psych, right? You can confirm this. But because there is a difference between people who have an ego and just like talk the talk, basically, and like they're either like tearing other people down, or they're saying that they're capable of doing all these things, but they don't actually do it. They're just like faking their like their results or their progress or their success or whatever. That's the bad ego, right? Like that's the one that you don't want to be.
Yeah.
But whether you like define like your results, like you produce results, you define that as your ego, self-confidence, conceited, cocky, whatever you want to call that. But when you talk about health, nutrition, training, like, because that's what we do here, like that's what we do specifically on this podcast and YouTube channel, right? You have to be a little bit selfish if you want to achieve some of your goals, or all of your goals even, right? And I think that people get those things confused, right? Like they think ego and selfish like go alongside perfectly together, right? But when you talk about health, nutrition, training, right? People like, if you call it me time, like you call it quote unquote, hey, I need some me time, everyone's like, oh yeah, do your thing, take your time, take care of your business, make sure you're all good to go, and then we'll deal with whatever we got to deal with, right? When people call it me time, for some reason it gets like a good rap,
Mhm.
but when you say, hey, I just need to take some time to myself, like, hey, I just like, I'm sorry, I can't, whatever we have to deal with together, like I need to take care of me first. I need a little bit of time to like manage myself first. And people
Yeah.
see that as selfish. Oh, how could you?
Yeah.
Like, how we're doing this thing together. Why are you putting yourself before us? Right.
Yeah. I was gonna jump in real quick and say,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that's a pretty great point. I think people have a hard time really separating someone who is selfish and someone who is looking out for their best interests for themselves, right? Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
self-care.
Yeah.
I think, at the end of the day, people like if you want to, I'm going to relate this specifically towards, your gym goals, whether that's like weight loss or muscle building. People won't notice the grind and the day-to-day it takes to get to your goal. People will only acknowledge your end result, the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you finally built that muscle, if you finally lost that weight, that's when people are like, oh my god, wow, you did it. How'd you get there? What does it take? But no one's going to acknowledge you from point A to point B. They only acknowledge you at point B. And you may have lost, people always say this is like when they're making their way to um lose the weight or make those gains, they may lose some friends along the way. And the reason why I feel like people say that saying is because those friends or people you called friends weren't necessarily supporting you along that way. And now that they see the results, they're like, oh wow, like that's why he was seen coming off as selfish, or
Yeah.
like he had an ego. But yeah, I think people have a hard time really understanding the difference and understanding the reason why someone may have this like ego or want to take care of themselves first.
Yeah. Like that's definitely always seen as like especially selfish, conceited. You pick your phrase here, right? But like everything, if everything that you did for yourself was considered selfish, you wouldn't be able to do like anything,
Yeah.
right? Like you wouldn't be able to work out regularly. You wouldn't be able to like do things that like make you feel good, like haircuts, like for us ladies, like nails, lashes, hair, whatever, right? You couldn't say no to food that was put in front of you, you know, aside from a cultural thing.
Mhm.
But like if I'm on a diet and someone asks me if I want some food and I'm really serious about trying to hit my macros, trying to stay under my calorie deficit, blah blah blah, that would be considered selfish. But like at the end of the day, if I'm trying to get something done, you should be able to respect that I'm I have the willpower to try and make something happen. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I always use this example. I don't know if you've heard me say this, you might have, but I always use the example of airplanes in the emergency, right? Like when you hop on an airplane, if you've ever been on an airplane, you know this, right? They tell you that in case of an emergency and, there's a lack of oxygen, the oxygen masks will drop down, right? And before trying to help someone that is less capable, you should be putting on your mask first, right? And
Yeah.
again, this might be seen as like, oh, selfish, I'm a dad and my kid needs mask, needs air too. But at the end of the day, if the kid is less capable, like it would be you would be much better served helping yourself before someone else, because if you are capable, you can help more than just your son or something like that, right? You can help more than just that one person. But if you put your mask on your kid, how many people is your kid helping? Like I know it's a little bit drastic of an example, but I use
Yeah.
that example a lot when it comes to taking care of yourself, because for some reason that example tends to resonate with everybody that I've told that to, right? And when you apply that to your health, right? You say, listen, I need to make sure that I am physically well, right? I need to make sure that I'm doing my cardio. I need to make sure that I'm doing my resistance to get my day-to-day job done, make sure that my health is good, increase my immunity. I need to go sit in the jacuzzi for an hour because my body feels really broken down. I need to do XYZ to take care of my health. Like that's the example that you should use, because if you're not healthy, if you're not well, how are you supposed to help anybody else?
Mhm. Yeah, I want
right?
to go back. I wanted to go back to your comment about like, I think a very common situation that happens is when someone is dieting, whether that's muscle building and fat loss, right? And they're really counting their macros. I think Jake, this came up too when we were like in college, for example. We were doing this, and friends want to go out, friends want to do this, and I know in the podcast we've said previously you should still do these things, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes on a random Wednesday night, Thursday night, whatever, right? It it just doesn't make sense for yourself to put yourself like kind of like go out the way to hang out with friend in situation where you have to go eat something that's not part of your regimen. That In that situation, it's very common because you're kind of stuck because you want to hang out with your friend, you want to be there, but you're also very careful and mindful of your own macros, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like, I don't want to get too into it, but you could obviously do something else. You don't have to go eat food, right? But the fact that you still have to turn them down for food, and you kind of feel guilty, but at the same time you
Yeah.
shouldn't feel guilty because what you're trying to do is different what they're trying to do, and not that one person's right and one person's wrong. It's just different goals at a different time, and and the priorities are a little different. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with not counting your macros or counting
Mhm.
your macros. It's just the priorities are a lot different. And then when it comes to training, same thing. If you have to go sacrifice maybe some like family time, maybe some, you have a special partner in your life and you need to sacrifice an hour or two to go hit the gym or go for a run,
Mhm.
like, even though it's you're sacrificing that time away from that person or family member, it is also important for your own well-being, because I've always said it's like, what's good to the other, the person you so-called love, if unfortunately you're not, your lifespan isn't that long, or you're not healthy, your body starts breaking down from
Yeah.
constant wear and tear, and not and neglecting your own body by not taking care of yourself. What good is that to the other person if you're not taking care of yourself? Because that person may get lucky and live to their over 100 years old, but you, for whatever reason, got the short end of the stick, and you know since you didn't work out, you didn't get those benefits as well. So that's kind of like the example I always give. It's like sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit, and you hope that the person understands that you're doing this for the long term.
Yeah, definitely. Like you have to make those sacrifice. Like you truly have to think of yourself and put yourself in front, especially when it comes to like your health,
Hmm.
because then you're much better suited to be helpful to everyone else in every other aspect of your life, right?
Yeah.
Because like in my case, if I'm unfit to do my job, I can't train other people, right? They expect me to show up, push them through their workouts, but like because I'm a trainer, right? And if me and Jesus didn't do this right here, our podcast, right? If we weren't good role models, right? We talk about health, we talk about fitness, we talk about mobility, nutrition, we talk about all this stuff, right? And if we didn't put that stuff into practice, one, we'd be terrible role models, but two, we could only do this for so long, and the impact that we could have could be much, like, could be decreased by a lot, just because we're not listening to, like, just because we're not taking our own advice and taking care of ourselves, because that's ultimately what we're just trying to do. We're trying to help other people figure it out, right? Navigate through their health and fitness goals, right? Like we always say. So, like, what I want to get across is that you know being selfish is okay, right? It gets, like, that word selfish gets a really bad rap, right? And but better yet, it's probably, even you would say, necessary for you to achieve your goals, right? You have to be at least a little bit selfish in order to get somewhere with your health, your fitness goals, because at the end of the day, you, like, need to put yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter if it's fitness, like general health, work, everything. You need to, like, be a little bit selfish in order to take care of you, so that way you can take care of others when they need you. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
I think that was a really really great example. Well said. Like I said, sometimes there is that little sacrifice, but I hope that the other person who you say you love, I hope that they also love you in that sense where they understand your own goals and what you're trying to accomplish, because that's the only way it's gonna work. You talked about your mom. I'm gonna throw my mom in here right now. She's always talked about how, like, your real friends are like the people who will love you and who will be there for you no matter what, right?
mhm,
you know, they know that you said no this time, or you left instead of hanging out for an hour or two, but you're going to come back and they're still going to love you and be there for you. And you're going to be able to appreciate them more, and they'll be able to appreciate you more in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. So, start normalizing taking the time to take care of yourself and stop calling it selfish, right? The people that need you will understand and be happy that you put yourself first for once. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll get it. The people that care will get it. The people that love you will get it. Okay?
Mhm.
And if you ever needed a sign to, get back on your training schedule, this is it, right? If you
Mhm.
needed a sign to get a me day, to take a me day, right? To take care of yourself, get a massage, get your hair done, get your nails done, whatever makes you feel good. This is it. Okay. Stop calling it selfish. Take care of yourself so that way you can help everybody else, and they will be grateful. If it's not now, it will be later. It will be worth it, I promise. But that's all I got today. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's all we have to say, really. Are you good, Jesus?
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. Well, we'll catch you in the next one. And peace.
Peace.